The Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft was Europe's premier touring car series and the battleground for Germany's major manufacturers, BMW, Mercedes, and Audi. But by early 1993, the jewel of German motorsport looked deflated. Audi's dramatic mid-season withdrawal in '92, followed by BMW's departure at year's end, cast a long shadow of uncertainty over the championship. It only seemed a matter of time before Europe's most ambitious touring car series would be cancelled. Then, like a bolt from the blue, a red Alfa 155 stormed onto the grid. The solemn German stillness was shattered by the howl of a free-revving Italian V6 engine, screaming to a mind-bending 12,000 RPM, as if it were the last time it would ever turn. Fans were enraptured by that wailing soundtrack, wrapped in thin-gauge steel and carbon fiber bodywork whose curves seemed sculpted by the very laws of aerodynamics. The Alfa 155 V6 Ti didn't just race the circuit, it sliced through the air like a blade. DTM had never seen anything like it before. It was cutting-edge technology fused with pure emotion. After all, grande emozione is an important part of Italian motor racing. But this isn't just the story of a race car. It's the tale of how one bold project breathed new life into an entire championship. A story of ambition, of people, of technology, and of sheer madness. Of how you can arrive as a guest and leave with every trophy. It all began with a crimson flash, and this is its story. Let's begin our story with the World Rally Championship, the 1992 season. The Lancia Delta was still dominating special stages around the globe, securing its 6th consecutive Constructors' Championship title. But behind the closed doors of Fiat's headquarters, Lancia's parent company, the mood was far from triumphant. Paolo Cantarella, the head of Fiat's automotive division, understood that total domination in motorsport, while impressive, could lose its marketing power. And the numbers spoke for themselves. Despite Lancia's legendary status in rallying, its road cars were struggling to sell, especially outside of Italy. And while the Delta HF Integrale remained a fan favorite, its relic platform, dating back to the early 1980s, was beginning to show its age. Meanwhile, rivals were arriving with newer cars built on more modern foundations. Fiat's top brass saw little reason to fund the development of a brand new rally car. And so, Cantarella made a bold call. Shut down Lancia's Works Rally program and redirect all available resources into the revival of another legendary brand, Alfa Romeo. The mission was clear: restore Alfa Romeo's sporting image through high-profile circuit racing. And what better battlefield than Germany's DTM? The Deutsche Tourenwagen Meisterschaft was booming, its popularity fueled by international TV coverage, including live broadcasts in Italy and Germany, two of Alfa Romeo's key markets. Soon, the entire engineering core of Lancia and the motorsport brain trust of Abarth, veterans of mud, snow, and gravel, were brought together under a new banner, Alfa Corsa, Alfa Romeo's in-house racing division. Seasoned engineers, once at home in gravel and dust, now stepped onto smooth asphalt for the first time. Their mission was ambitious: to build a car capable of beating the Germans on their own turf. The father of the ambitious project was Paolo Cantarella, who oversaw the switch from the highly successful Lancia Rally program to the Alfa Romeo touring car program. He appointed Giorgio Pianta as the team boss, a man who knew motorsports inside and out. Before joining Alfa's motorsport program, Pianta had plied his trade in all manner of cockpits, up to and including Formula One. Starting in the mid-1970s, Pianta worked as a test driver for Fiat Abarth, contributing to the development of the Fiat 131 Abarth, which took Walter Vröll and Christian Geisdorfer to the World Rally title in 1980. Pianta honed his skills not only behind the wheel, but also as a motorsport manager at Lancia, under the leadership of Cesare Fiorio, a legend who turned a modest garage outfit into a world rally powerhouse. During his time at Abarth, Pianta began working with a young engineering prodigy, Sergio Limone, a 24-year-old newcomer who had just joined Abarth's development department. Limone quickly earned a reputation for bold ideas and a relentless drive to learn. In 1980, he took on what would become his first masterpiece, the Lancia 037, Fiat's opening salvo for the infamous Group B era. While Pianta is often credited as the father of the 037, it was technical magician Limone who truly laid the foundation for the car. No surprise, then, that he was chosen as the technical chief for Alfa's DTM program. The team was also joined by engine specialist D'Agostino and electronics expert Alviano. Together, this quartet was the one who developed the World Rally Championship spec Lancia Delta, which had just won 6 straight titles between 1987 and 1992. It was this level of experience and engineering firepower that Alfa needed to make a strong, uncompromising debut in the DTM. By the early 1990s, Alfa Romeo's situation was far from ideal. Despite its glorious racing past and iconic badge, the brand was losing ground fast. The model range was rapidly aging, sales were declining, especially outside of Italy, and rivals like BMW and Mercedes were winning over customers with cars that were sleeker, more reliable, and undeniably more prestigious. Financial pressure was mounting, and in the eyes of the public, Alfa was no longer a symbol of racing passion. It was becoming a name tied to technical issues and outdated models. In such a climate, the company needed a fresh start. Not just a new car, but a symbol of change. That technical manifesto was meant to be the Alfa Romeo 155, unveiled in 1992. Built on the Fiat Tipo platform, shared with the lesser-known Fiat Tempra and Lancia Dedra, it hardly looked like a future race car. It was Alfa's first front-wheel drive model with a transversely mounted engine, features that went against the brand's sporting DNA. But from a commercial standpoint, the 155 was a crucial step forward. Fresh styling, a new platform, better ergonomics, and a wide choice of engines. It was an effort to reach the mass market without losing the spirit of the brand. Among the lineup was a high-performance version, the 155 Q4, equipped with a 2-liter turbo engine and an all-wheel drive system borrowed straight from the Lancia Delta Integrale. And it was this version that was chosen as the basis for the brand's works racing program. The team started small, developing a lightweight 155 GTA Superturismo, known internally as SE051, to compete in the Italian Touring Car Championship, the Campionato Italiano Superturismo. National racing was a cost-effective proving ground, allowing development to proceed in parallel with Lancia's final rally seasons. Engineers from Lancia and Abarth played a key role in adapting the rally engine for circuit use, and the collaboration paid off quickly. In 1992, Alfa's ace driver Nicola Larini stormed to 9 victories and claimed the championship title. The car itself was already showcasing aerodynamic innovations, such as the double rear wing that would later become hallmarks of its DTM evolution. The Alfa Romeo 155 GTA won the title, proving it could dominate under touring car regulations closely tied to production models. But that was just the warm-up, just the opening note before stepping onto the grand stage. The 1992 season could have been the last for DTM. It all started with a major scandal. Audi abruptly withdrew from the championship mid-season after their innovative flat-plane crankshaft was banned, a decision that sparked fierce debate within the technical committee. Audi refused to compromise and exited DTM with a dramatic slam of the door. By the end of the season, BMW followed suit. The Bavarians were unhappy with how quickly the regulations had evolved from the relatively fair and affordable Group A format into a playground for costly, high-tech prototypes. BMW, long loyal to a more pure touring car philosophy, saw no point in continuing in a series that was beginning to resemble single-seater racing. With the loss of both giants, the series faced a very real threat of collapse. But instead of folding, the series organizers, a group known as ITR, or Internationale Tourenwagen Rennen, decided to take a bold step forward. Realizing the old Group A philosophy had run its course, they announced the birth of a brand new category, Class 1 touring cars. This wasn't just a rule change, it was a full-scale reboot. Gone were the old homologation rules, which had required that race cars be born from road-going donors like the BMW M3 or Mercedes 190e Evo 2. In their place came the dawn of a technical revolution. Active differentials, all-wheel drive systems, sequential gearboxes, and electronic control units with real-time data processing were all permitted. The only major limitation, naturally aspirated engines, with no turbocharging. Everything else, a blank canvas for engineering creativity. This freedom attracted new contenders. Opel and Alfa Romeo entered the game, ready to upset the established order and challenge Mercedes, the last representative of the old guard. Alfa's headquarters for the Class 1 project was located in Settimo Milanese, west of Milan, the same place where, until 1983, the legendary Auto Delta, Alfa's works team, had its base. This was where the V6 engine was developed and the cars were assembled. The second key base of the project was the iconic Abarth Engineering Center in Chivasso, on the fringe of Turin, which was used to develop the transmission, suspension, and aerodynamics. It was in these forges of motorsport artistry that the story of Alfa Romeo's new racing machine began, the 155 V6 Ti Turismo Internazionale. At the heart of this machine beat an entirely new naturally aspirated V6. The freedom of the engine regulations effectively meant we were able to build a pure racing engine, recalled Limone, and we could install it lengthwise. In the GTA, it had to be fitted crosswise, as it was in the production car. The V6 was based on the 60-degree engine block from Alfa Lancia Industriale. Thanks to a short piston stroke, it revved up to an astonishing 12,000 RPM. This wasn't just an engine, it was an orchestra, playing at piercing high notes. It produced up to 420 horsepower, but what mattered more was something else. Razor-sharp throttle response. Clean, predictable, and lightning fast. Electronics from Magneti Marelli used the Step 4 architecture, the same system that powered the V10 engine on the Williams F1 car. The cube-shaped engine weighed 110 kilograms, but it wasn't the weight that was the issue. It was the positioning low over the front axle. That resulted in an unfavorable weight balance of 61% over the front and 39% at the rear, similar to the old Audi V8 Quattro. It was an ongoing problem for the Italian four-wheel drive racer. In terms of mileage, the engine could last 500 kilometers in race conditions and up to 800 kilometers in testing before requiring a rebuild, a job that cost around 30,000 German marks or 40,000 US dollars today. Much like Audi, once Lancia's fierce rival in rally, Alfa put its faith in an all-wheel drive transmission. We tried to avoid the complications you can have with a four-wheel drive system by moving the transmission backwards, leaving the clutch on the engine, and putting the drive to the front axle in between, explained Limone. The transmission was a 6-speed gearbox, with power distributed 33% to the front and 67% to the rear. However, unlike the rear-wheel drive Mercedes, Alfa had to manage without ABS. Developing ABS for an all-wheel drive car is a hellishly difficult task, Piatta remarked. Despite its superior engine and drive system, Alfa had one serious drawback. Its body height was 1.38 meters, making it the tallest car on the grid, 8 centimeters taller than the Mercedes. In a world where every millimeter of center of gravity matters, this was a real challenge. But Alfa knew that technology was only half the story. The other half lay in the hands of those behind the wheel. The factory team consisted of 4 drivers. Leading them was Nicola Larini, lightning fast, technical, almost surgically precise behind the wheel. He already held the title of Italian touring car champion and had Formula One experience under his belt. In DTM, he quickly became a fan favorite and a nightmare for his rivals. Alongside him was Alessandro Nannini, charismatic and fearless. His F1 career had been cut short by a horrific helicopter crash that left him with partial loss of movement in his right hand. But his will to win, combined with a specially adapted gear shifting system, brought him back to racing. And not just back, but back as a force to be reckoned with on any grid. 46-year-old Giorgio Francia was the veteran and lead development expert, a man who knew the 155 V6 Ti's behavior better than anyone. His work was Herculean, though often invisible. He logged thousands of test kilometers, helping to perfect the car. The fourth was Christian Danner, the only German in the lineup. A former Formula One driver, he brought not only experience and speed, but also served as a bridge between Italian passion and German precision. The four-driver works team carried the Cuore Sportivo, Sporting Heart battle cry on its shield. This wasn't just a slogan from a brochure, it was a philosophy. The team from Settimo Milanese lived and breathed it, and their drivers burned with the same fire. The reigning champion team, AMG Mercedes, entered the new season not quite fully prepared, and their biggest star, Klaus Ludwig, the defending DTM champion, found himself outshone by the impressive Alfa newcomers. Ludwig already had 2 DTM titles under his belt, along with victories at Le Mans and dozens of pole positions. In one of our previous episodes, we recalled how Ludwig, together with the Whittington brothers, smugglers from sunny Miami, claimed victory in the 24-hour of Le Mans, driving a Porsche 935. Cool-headed, experienced, and pinpoint accurate, Ludwig was used to fighting at the very top. But in 1993, Mercedes couldn't provide him with the kind of weapon he was accustomed to. We've still got a lot to sort out, admitted tech boss Werner Frohwein. Their DTM car was still rear-wheel drive, putting it at a clear disadvantage against the all-wheel drive Alfas, especially in wet conditions. The season opener at Zolder was a brutal wake-up call for the rivals. In the first race, Alfa swept the podium with a 1-2-3 finish. And in the second, they secured a commanding 1-2. For many, it was love at first sight. The red touring car, with its intoxicating V6 roar, was pure adrenaline. Just weeks earlier, DTM had been in crisis. With BMW and Audi pulling out, the once flagship series had started to look like a troubled child. But the arrival of Alfa Romeo's works team breathed new life into the championship. DTM was saved, and the move to high-tech Class 1 machines looked to be a success. Larini triumphed in both races in Belgium, sending a clear message. He was here to dominate. By the end of the season, he had secured 10 wins in 20 races and 11 fastest laps. The crowning glory of his season came with a brilliant performance on the Nordschleife in June, where he won both races despite never having seen the track before. Walter Röhrl, left without a drive after Audi's withdrawal, knew exactly what the secret was. Nobody drives as cleanly as Larini. High praise from the smoothest of the smooth drivers. The youngest driver in Alfa Romeo's lineup secured the championship title early, with 3 races still to go. Against Larini's dazzling form, Alfa's other drivers were almost overshadowed. Only Alessandro Nannini made a late statement, winning both races of the final round at Hockenheim. His points helped Alfa Romeo edge out Mercedes in the manufacturer standings, clinching the title. 1993 became the year of Alfa. A team that had entered the championship as a dark horse seized the initiative from the very first race and never let it go. The red silhouettes of the 155 V6 Ti, their V6 engines howling, became the symbol of a new era in DTM. Ahead of the 1994 season, engineers led by Limone managed to reduce aerodynamic drag by lowering the car's height by 50 millimeters, and thanks to a redesigned layout, greatly improved its balance. A new pneumatic valve control made the V6 engine more reliable, while the American company Kelsey Hayes developed an ABS system for the 155. The season began with great promise. Alessandro Nannini won 3 of the first 4 races. It seemed that Alfa's dominance would continue. But in the shadow of the red machines, a new silver arrow was gaining momentum. The Mercedes-Benz C-Class, built for the DTM. At the wheel was the ice-cold Klaus Ludwig, who confidently claimed the championship title, finishing ahead of his teammate Jörg van Olmen. Later, Nannini would admit, Alfa deserved the title, but I wasted the chance. What he lacked most was consistency. As for Nicola Larini, the reasons behind his underwhelming season remained unclear. Rumors swirled that he was simply overworked. In addition to racing for Alfa, he was still serving as Ferrari's test driver, helping develop the monstrous 800 horsepower 412 T1B for Jean Alesi and Gerhard Berger. Despite the intense workload, Larini still ended the year as Alfa's top driver, finishing 3rd overall. In preparation for the 1995 season, the main focus shifted to aerodynamics. Special attention was paid to the car's underbody, which helped reduce tire wear on a machine notoriously heavy on the front axle. But the more the Alfa Romeo 155 V6 Ti evolved, the worse its results became. In the car's 3rd season, Nicola Larini once again emerged as the top Alfa driver, but slipped to 6th place in the overall DTM standings. That same year, ITR, the organizers of DTM, decided to take the next big step. In an effort to attract global attention and lure in new manufacturers, they launched the International Touring Car Championship, or ITC. In 1995, it debuted alongside the DTM in a 5-race format. And in both DTM and the debut ITC, one man reigned supreme, Bernd Schneider. He won both titles, while Mercedes-Benz claimed the constructors' titles in both series. Once a pioneer of technological innovation in DTM, Alfa Romeo suddenly found itself falling behind. Within the team, the main reason cited was the crushing development schedule. "There's nowhere near enough time," lamented Sergio Limone. The fact that the regulations are only passed in the summer is insane. To return to the top, Alfa would have to outperform not just its rivals, but itself. Limone always referred to the 1996 version of the 155 V6 Ti as an evolution of the 1995 model. It came with a new transmission, and the fuel tank was relocated directly above the rear axle for improved weight balance. But the real game changer in the SC065 was hidden under the hood. A brand new 90-degree V6 engine. Its power output was estimated at over 500 horsepower, pure raw fury. Unfortunately, it was unleashed only halfway through the season. After DTM and ITC ran in parallel through 1995, the two were officially merged under the ITC banner in 1996 for the sake of clarity. It was a turning point for Alfa Romeo. Nannini won 7 races in the upgraded 155, more than any other driver that season. However, some of those victories came thanks to team orders. And in the end, he finished only 3rd in the standings, losing the title to Opel's Manuel Reuter. The finale at Suzuka marked the end of the season and of an era. Once a sparkling showcase of engineering and spectacle, the series collapsed under the weight of its own ambition. Budgets spiraled out of control. Fan interest waned as the spotlight shifted to Formula One and the meteoric rise of Michael Schumacher. One by one, sponsors pulled the plug, TV coverage kept shrinking, and distrust between the teams only deepened. Eventually, the 3 manufacturers, Alfa Romeo, Mercedes, and Opel, unanimously decided to shut the project down. In the aftermath, Alfa regrouped, turning its sights to Class 2 touring cars. From 1998 onward, they campaigned the 156, a sleek machine with a 310 horsepower 2-liter engine. Mercedes, meanwhile, stormed into the FIA GT Championship, creating the CLK GTR in a staggering 128 days. a car that dominated the 1997 and 1998 seasons. The final form of the 155 V6 Ti was, in many ways, the best it had ever been. But history didn't grant it a fair stage, and it was overshadowed by the collapse of the ITC, the triumph of Opel, and, as often happens with Italian teams, bitter internal politics over power, technology, and personnel. Looking back, it's astonishing that Cuore Sportivo, the beating heart of Alfa Romeo, burned so brightly, but only for a single season of true domination. And yet, even as rivals surged ahead in the years that followed, the admiration for the 155 V6 Ti never faded. Not since that thunderous debut in Zolder 32 years ago. That crimson flash didn't just blaze through DTM. It left a scar right in the heart of German motorsport.